Hi guys, it's Main here, back again with another account review, and today we are looking at Mechanics account. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. Yeah, hello. I see based off of the dashboard here, this is a kind of someone who's transitioning from, I guess you can call what we'd call in our Discord mid-game to more of an end-game player. That being said, there's a lot of things that I see here that you need to complete first before you're considered kind of an end gamer. Or like even like early end game. I don't know. The titles for everything are so weird when it comes to Idleon. You're end game to one person, you're not end game to another. Just depends, you know, how you view yourself. But you're transitioning to that point in the game where it becomes where you start focusing on a lot of like minute mechanics. Start doing a lot of the boring stuff. You know, like candy clicking and I guess mob candy clicking. I don't know. Anyways, we are. You know, I best way to approach this, I think, is just look at what is like the easiest thing for you to do right now. How would you go about progressing this account if I were in your position? And I guess we'll start there. So first thing I see, obviously, not all of your family Obols are there. You're missing some. And also you have a mix of like the multi-kill per tier hyper Obols. You have some like Kruk Obols. So I think you were... I hope that with this Obol set that you were trying to get like a mob print or something. But you also like don't have all the Obols set. So first priority is I would just make sure you have a full family page of drop rate Obols. You don't really need multi-kill. Drop rate is just generally better for your account. So get those pop Obols for the circles, get the dice Obols for the squares, or if you have those ice guard Obols, you can place those in for those other. And then the hexagon Obol, obviously you're missing that. Secondly, I do want to point out that some of these Obols are not rolled to be better. So the Cattle Kruk Obols, you only have 5% AFK gain when you could get 6%. The ice guard Obols, you've only rolled to 8% drop rate. You can roll those to +9. And I think those are the only ones, right? Yeah, based off it. But yeah, you see this little like faint gold circle around the Obol that tells you you've rolled it to be +1 from what the base stat was. That's just a general indicator that you don't need to upgrade those. So yeah, you're also just missing out some drop rates. That's why I'd recommend swapping out the Kruk Obols. It's really only useful if you're taking prints, if you're killing mobs or whatever. That's why I say these are generally fine to keep, especially if you're doing like a V-Man speedrun, or if you're trying to farm those like villager statues, or you're trying to farm dragon warrior statue. That being said, you also don't have any villager statues and you don't have any dragon warrior statues, so I fear that when we go to the hole, I think you might be missing levels in the hole. You might be missing levels in that stuff. Also, you haven't done any of the World 5, World 6 Coliseum, right? I think, right? Unless you haven't done some of these Coliseums. Molten Asher, World 4, World 5. I don't know. I guess first thing we'll tackle, actually let's start back, like way back when we just go through the world and just look at the stamps, because I saw you had like 1100 stamp level. What are you missing? What can you upgrade? Okay, first of all, you can upgrade your crystalline stamp with a cost reduction, with hydrogen, with a gilded stamp. You can upgrade this. You can force the carry capacity on this to be higher. If you have a star sign doubler, you can actually equip a star sign. That'll 3 star signs that'll increase your carry capacity. Number 1, we have the OG Skiller. This will increase 5% carry capacity. This will increase 30% carry capacity, Mr. No Sleep. And there's this one, Pack Mule. So if you have a star sign doubler, even if you have infinite star signs, you can double click this, make sure these are equipped, and you should be able to get double that carry capacity, and more than double if you have Seraph Cosmos unlocked, to help increase the carry capacity. So you can fit those bricks onto your character. To upgrade that. Also, make sure you have Rucksack equipped on this character, and you can also do this on V-Man, because V-Man does have a specific talent for material capacity, which count towards these anvil production items. So you can actually increase the carry capacity on your V-Man even further than the other characters. And obviously, equipping a higher tier bag, if you don't have already, will help increase the amount of capacity that your characters have to help you get a higher level of crystalline. The reason you want to level up crystalline even further is to help reduce the amount of, or rather increase the amount of crystal spawn chance you have. The more crystal spawn chance you have, obviously it's better for DK farming, it's better for bubo cranium cooking. It's just generally better all around for your characters to help increase your gains in that department. Gold food, statues, or even if you're EXP farming in World 6, crystal mobs are a key pinnacle aspect of that. So getting more crystal spawn chance is going to help your character in the long run. So highly recommend doing that. Secondly, you should probably farm out a few more levels of Mason Jar Stamp. I know it sounds daunting getting that 1800 glass shards with the cost reduction, but it's very easy to do. And you can honestly go ES farm, you can candy these instead. Hell, if you have Arcane Cultists, you can actually stack up the purple crystal for drop rate and the blue crystal for AFK gains to make your candies more effective to get you more of those glass shards. But if you don't want to use any candy like a psychopath, you can Elemental Sorcerer, just be active in killing sandy pots and they'll yield you the most active results for getting glass shards. But in the end, it's just better to candy it, to be completely honest. And if you do spend an exorbitant amount of candies, make sure to move your shrines to that map or to that world map, the town map, sorry, so you can progress your shrines and make sure you have gold cheese in your character so the shrines level up a little bit faster than normal. Because, you know, if you're leveling up crystalline alongside that, because candy does progress your anvil production, you can actually level up crystalline with that. While you're using the candy, it'll help increase the level of your crescent shrine, which means you get more of that crystal spawn chance and giant spawn chance as well. Cool. Okay, I want to tackle your onyx statues because obviously I see you don't have all these statues onyx. So what's the best way to go about this? Number one, Elemental Sorcerer for Seesaw active. You can complete this statue in World 3. There's specific mobs that drop the statue. I can't remember which one specifically. I think it's some of the later ones. Yeah, you have Cryo Snake. Cryo Snake, I think, gives you the best drop rate. Yeah. Cryo Snake will give you the best drop rate. This isn't affected by multi-kill. It's insane to me how often I see people say multi-kill affects this, or like anything besides just the Cryo Snake skin. Multi-kill only affects the world, like the first item in the drop table, so it only affects the Cryo Snake skin here. As in, if you can print it, it's affected by multi-kill. Obviously, that doesn't apply to skilling resources or whatever. But yeah, multi-kill doesn't affect this. It's only drop rate that'll affect this. And the ES portal will effectively increase the drop rate of these items that are not in a crystal spawn bag. So you can get more of these Seesaw statues by active farming Cryo Snakes. Or again, you can also candy it. So up to you what you want to do if you want to spend those candies doing that, or you can active ES farm it. Back in the day, people used to active ES farm this with like 20x drop rate. Took them a few days. Maybe a day or two, but you can definitely get the Seesaw statue active as opposed to candying it. It's very realistic to do that, and honestly I don't even know what drop rate you're at, but I suspect once you get more Obols and swapping gear to your Elemental Sorcerer, it shouldn't be too hard of a task. Yeah, I mean, you're at 19.6. This is more than enough to get this statue to Onyx. Considering back in the day when Onyx statues dropped, 21x drop rate was like the end game pinnacle achievement. Like you could quit the game and like be good forever, obviously until the pay to win drop rate stuff came out. But yeah, I mean, 20x drop rate is more than reasonable to actually level this up and especially get the 20,000 for this to Onyx. And it's really hard to farm these statues specifically, the Seesaw, the two soul, and the box statue, but just getting it to Onyx is really powerful because it'll double the effectiveness of the statue. Not only that, but also increase the deposit of the other statues. So it's very, very important to get every statue you can up to Onyx so that you can continue that grind. So in my opinion, I think the easiest one for you to level up to Onyx is probably Seesaw because you can active ES it. The Ocean Man statue, you do need to be on skilling nodes if I'm not mistaken. Ocean Man statue. Again, I'd highly recommend using the wiki for reference. Shout out to Sheepy in chat. You can see the drop rate for this. Pretty much all the catching nodes are pretty equivalent, so you can go on flies, you can go on butterflies, just AFK there, or again, use candy. If you're using candy, I would highly recommend trying to do sandy pots, trying to get the AFK, doing Arcane Cultists crystal farming on sandy pots with the blue crystal, because if you do that, it'll help increase the AFK gains for that map. And Sandy Pots has the fly node, so if you increase the AFK gains for that map specifically, it will impact the catching node there, and you'll be able to get the Ocean Man statue. So it's probably the best of both worlds in trying to do that map specifically, because not only are you trying to increase the AFK gains for your Sandy Pots for the glass shards, but you're also increasing the fly output as well with your candy. So kill two birds with one stone, get the best of both worlds. You can go ahead and do some statue farming, or rather AC crystal farming, to increase your gains there and get that Onyx statue, or sorry, the Ocean Man statue up to Onyx as fast as you can. There you go. That's pretty good advice. That's new age advice, I guess you could say, with the Arcane Cultist. Anyways, moving on to the last two statues, Villager and Dragon Warrior. You're going to want to stack up as much multi-kill per tier. And I know you're probably asking, Main, you just talked about how it only impacts the first item in the drop table. Well, guess what? The Villager statue and the Dragon Warrior statue are considered the first item in the drop table, so these can be multi-killed. So yes, stacking multi-kill will increase the amount of Villager statues you get. Obviously, these drop rates are high, and it requires your character to actually drop one of these statues for it to be multiplied by multi-kill. So that's why sometimes you get like 500 million statues, right? And then sometimes you get 0. That's because your character didn't drop the Villager statue for it to get multi-killed. Does it impact Prince as well? AC Crystal, I mean? Yes, it does. It multiplies the AFK gain rate on the resource that you stack up the crystal on. So this only applies to like the trees in the maps and the bugs in the map, because ores do not spawn inside a map that has monsters typically. So you can't really stack up the the crystal for those maps. But it only applies to those logs. So you can actually get a higher log print. You can actually get a higher bug print by stacking up the arcane crystal. The blue crystal for the AFK gain multiplier. Obviously, the EXP crystal won't do anything for your prints, and the drop rate crystal won't do anything for your prints. It's just the AFK gain rate multiplier to help increase the output there when you do your 3D prints. Cool. Okay, going back to the Villager statue and Dragon Warrior statue. Multi-kill is the name of the game. You're at layer 10. Okay. How do you not have a single level in the Villager statue? How is that possible? You just not deposit any of them, and you're just going straight for onyx? I guess. Okay, well, this honestly, considering where you are in the game, considering you're at Cavern, you're at Cavern 12, right, or something like that. Cavern 12, you have the multi-kill per tier here from the Gloomy Kills. You should be able to get this statue to onyx very, very quickly, because I mean, even considering my free-to-play account, right? Like I have that much damage, and I'm hitting multi-kill in the Gloomies. It should be very free game for you to be able to get that to onyx, because you have insanely higher multi-kill per tier than me. Once you get the Seesaw statue and once you get the Ocean Man statue up to onyx, I think you should immediately switch gears and do the Villager statue. This is a multiplier to the amount of Villager EXP you can get, so it is a massive increase to the Villager EXP, which will help you push the hold much, much faster and level up your villagers much, much faster. So it is a high priority for you to do to really impact your account. Also, the fact is you almost have all of the statues at onyx, and I would not wait to deposit a lot of your statues except the Kachow statue. If you're waiting on Dragon Warrior statue, because you're just going to massively impact your account in a very negative way. I think you get the Villager statue immediately to 20,000. Once you get these other two, deposit as much as you can, and your Villager EXP is going to skyrocket like through the roof because of how powerful this is. So I would highly recommend trying to get this to onyx as fast as you can, because you have the capability to do it. You have a lot of multi-kill per tier, you have a lot of drop rate, you have a ton of damage on your characters, and this should be a no-brainer, like fastest thing you can possibly do. I think it might take you honestly like 2 days if you stick most of your characters, the majority of your characters there, because it'll massively increase your whole progress to help you a ton there. And honestly, you can drop like 500 statues and be completely fine, because you have all of these other statues at onyx. So the deposit multiplier you have on just 500 statues is already like insane. Before you do, I would probably recommend doing Prisma Bubble farming if you haven't already. Okay, so you have Statue EXP leveled up. You have the vial at level 13. Or is it? You have more than 100%, so you're guaranteed to get the double statue deposit. Yeah, I would drop like 500 statues now free onyx, because you can farm those up like immediately. So if you want to get more progress in the hole, just take 500 of the 2,500 statues you have right now, drop them, or just like deposit them at the statue guy, and you'll probably get a ton of Villager EXP here, and that's going to massively improve your progress in the hole. Because I mean, where are all your opals right now? Ooh. Why are they split? Okay, actually, I want to see something real quick. Premium currency, jump shop. Is there any way I can check slug? No? Sheepy, please tell me there's a way I can see if this guy has slugs or not. Canyons? No, not Rift Slug. I'm talking about rupee slugs. Come on. Not Rift Slug. Not Rift Slug. Okay, I guess maybe. Slugs on jar rupee value? Well, I don't know if it actually outputs here or not yet. Okay, so it says that you do have rupee slugs. However, there's a bit of nuance when it comes to the rupee slug, okay? And maybe. It's somewhere in here. Rupee slug, I'm trying to find rupee slug. Okay. I can't find like the icon for it, but your toolbox, that's not there. So toolbox does indicate you have rupee slugs. So let me explain how rupee slugs work. So obviously I can't show you the tooltip or what it said in the gem shop at the time. Okay, à plus. Rupee slugs, the way they work is they are supposed to multiply the amount of rupees you get once you reach Cavern 11. At least that's what the gem shop like tooltip said at the time. However, the way it actually works is until you get to Cavern 13, it'll give you a EXP multiplier for your villagers. So I would actually stop investing Obols into your Explorer right now. And I would actually invest probably a good portion of those into maybe Engineer. Yeah, probably Engineer, to be honest. Yeah. I would de-invest all of your Obols from Explorer and Belaya into Engineer. I think Belaya at 38, yes, you can obviously get some more out of here, but you don't want to split Opals like this. It's actually pretty bad for you. I would put all of your Opals into one guy. You don't want to split Opals until you can reliably upgrade and utilize this upgrade right here. The villager EXP per 5 Opals invested in the villager with the least Opals. Obviously, you've invested 4 points of this and you're getting 0% benefit from it because these other villagers have 0 Opals into them. You, honestly, at the Opal investment that you have right now, it's questionable whether you actually would get a benefit from splitting 5-5 or 10-10 across all your villagers and then putting all in on one. I would still just do all in on one character to help you progress. And I would just do all those Opals on Engineer right now because you have a lot of schematics that you can immediately complete, and that'll help get you a little bit of villager EXP, but also mainly help you in the whole. You can get extra string for your harp. You can get an extra Gambit Cavern, which obviously you don't have completed yet. You can help increase the amount of rupees you get in your jar. You can increase the amount of collectible find chance you get. You can help increase the maximum monument rewards so you can sit on them a little bit longer. You can actually increase the study rate for your Belaya. You can actually increase, the amount of rupees you find. And I think that's it right now. I mean, there's a lot of schematics that you can complete that'll really help you in the whole, specifically at the jar mechanic, specifically at the harp, and, you know, just the other monuments. And then once you get those to level 23, I think is where you cap out. You probably want to do another Opal reset and invest those into Cosmo, in my opinion, to get a little bit higher level here. You want to take advantage of the EXP multiplier that you have from those rupee slugs before you hit Cavern 13, because once you hit Cavern 13, your EXP for the villager from rupee slug is going to disappear. It doesn't give you the EXP multiplier up to Cavern 11 like it said in the gem shop. It gives you it up to Cavern 13. And you just want to take advantage of that right now to help increase your engineer levels, help increase your Cosmo levels, right? And then I would obviously de-invest points. I would do a pip reset from Conjurer, the Conjurer point reset, because you don't want to split Opals. You're getting 0 benefit from this. That's just 4 free points that you can utilize. And instead, here's what I do. I would put all the points into 10th Opal. I'd put 1 point into the Conjurer bonuses, all the points, and maximize the Measurer bonus, maximize the Monument bonus. I get at least 1 point into Harp, 1 point into this. I'd probably max out the Rupee, to be honest. I'd max out Belaya. And if you don't have Doot, I'd put 2 points here. If you do have Doot, you can ignore that. And what else? If you have leftover points, maybe into the villager schematic, the rest into strings to help you with the harp a little bit, all that stuff. Yeah, and I don't even know if you have Doot, to be honest. Yeah, you have Doot, so you don't even need to worry about it. Cool. But yeah, like I said, definitely depositing villager statues is going to really help skyrocket your EXP to help you progress the whole much faster. And before you dump the statues, please de-invest your Obols, de-invest your Conjurer points, and invest, like I said, and focus all your Obols into one character. And right now, I think that should be Engineer. Once you get level 23 Engineer, reinvest those points into Cosmo. Try to get like 25, 26 upgrades into Cosmo, and then I'd probably do a little bit of a reset into... I guess at that point, you can go into Explorer and try to push 13. Just realize that as soon as you get to level 13, you're going to lose that EXP multiplier from the Rupee Slug. So hopefully by that point that you have those upgrades into Engineer and you have those upgrades into Cosmo, you'll have this statue at Onyx, and you don't need to rely as much on the Rupee Slug upgrade. As unfortunate as it is, you can skip past that and just really hammer home and leveling up your Explorer to level 14. And at that point, you want to do essentially the same thing, right? Go back to Engineer, invest in Measurer, invest in Cosmo, invest in Belaya, doing those Opal resets, putting them all in, and trying to upgrade your other villagers as opposed to Explorer. Because going from level 14 villager to level 15 is incredibly hard. It takes a lot of experience, and it's going to rely on a lot more levels into the villager statue here. Okay, let's go back to our normal scheduled programming, non-whole stuff, the bubbles. I think number one priority is just, getting the Warrior's Rule, Archer, Busted, Mage's Best bubbles up to level 1000, level like 1500, just getting them to a higher level to help you with like your prints, your damage, all that stuff. And then if you, I guess this might help inform my opinion a little bit better. You're in the billions. Okay. Candy clicking is a little bit out of your scope right now, so maybe getting more levels into like Hardy Diggy, getting more levels into Strong Tools, getting more levels into definitely Molt Orange, Prema Green, Severe Purple. These bubbles massively increase your character skill efficiency and tool power and your prints. And then eventually, when you get to that like 10 billion 15, 20 billion range, as you're doing more investment into mining efficiency from the Bravery Monument, as you get more of those bubble levels, investing a lot more into mining efficiency to help aim towards a higher print. And at some point, you do want to candy click a little bit. As annoying as it is, it gives you some pretty massive gains, and it's really hard to ignore the power and like how fast you can progress by candy clicking. So I'm talking a lot in this video about how your candy can actually help you a ton in your account progress, and it's true. You gain a lot of power, especially through candy clicking, and you can really massively increase your gains in your account by candy clicking because of how powerful Alchemy is, right? You can get a ton more levels into your base stat bubbles, your total stat bubbles, like the strength, the swift step and stable genius, all that stuff. And also through upgrading the skill efficiency ones like Hardy Diggy, right? You get a ton more power there. And especially when it comes to, the later bubbles, trying to get more atom generation to support higher levels of Molt Orange, Prema Green, Severe Purple, absolutely do it. But yeah, candy clicking is definitely in your near future. It's not available to you right now, but as you level up, get more levels into mining efficiency through Bravery, getting more levels of the Warrior's Rule, Archer Bust, Mage's Best, Molt Orange, Prema Green, Severe Purple, you'll be at or near that range to candy click. And again, the rough range where I'd recommend candy clicking is that 10 billion to 20 billion resource, just to make your candies more effective. You could do it earlier, it's just painful to do. Okay, Cauldrons, I would definitely do some Bubo or AC grinding to get higher levels of your Cauldrons, your cap and rate for water, liquid, it's just all these to help, smooth out the journey, especially if you get into the territory of candy clicking. Leveling up the cap and rate for these Cauldrons is going to be vitally important, because getting a higher level of liquid capacity is very crucial, especially as you candy click, because the liquid cost for those bubbles are going to ramp up very, very fast. So as you candy click more and more, the more liquid you'll need. So the more you'll need to rely on Arcane Cooldoes pushing these Cauldron levels even higher. And if you don't have already, because Toolbox can be a little bit buggy, I don't actually know if you have Draconic Cauldrons, you might just have Bleach Cauldrons. I would highly recommend trying to get Bleach Cauldrons if you don't have those already. And then when it comes to vials, obviously I would recommend getting on the vial grind, trying to push that as much as you can. Number one priority when it comes to the critter vials is try to get the honker vial to level 13. The more base critters you get, obviously the more EXP you'll get, but also the more critters you'll get, so you can finish these vials at level 13 much faster. I'd probably get Pearl Seltzer up to a higher level, like level 4. Obviously not 1, you want to aim to 13 because it takes forever, and it's, I think, impossible right now. So don't even bother with it. Just get to level 4 so you get more shaman damage. But yeah, some of these monster material vials, definitely get those up to level 13. That is very feasible for anyone to do. Especially at your stage of the game with as much multi-kill per tier as you have. You have that level 10 measure upgrade for that multi-kill per tier, which is pretty massive. So getting those monster material vials level 13 is very easy for you, or it should be very easy for you. Again, you can active ES for those. Active ES is the best for getting those mob materials vials to level 13. Okay. Cool. On. I'm fiddling with my free-to-play account right now in the background. Cool. Moving on. Sigils. Okay, you're at the Piss Sigils. Pretty good. I see you're probably at Iodized. I think you're doing a good job of focusing on the Cauldrons. Again, if you're active farming Arcane Cultists, I would recommend sticking your characters in the Cauldron. If you're not active on AC, I would stick your characters onto Sigils. And that's strictly because while you're on AC, if you have Cranium Cook, you stop all Sigil progress. So if you're doing Cranium Cook, you can't progress Sigils, so it's better to have your characters on Liquid Cauldrons. But if you're doing something else, like you're farming tiers of the Gloomy Cavern on Siegebreaker, and you're trying to get plunderous mob kills, you're obviously not doing Cranium Cooking, and so you can stick your characters on Sigils. Otherwise, just AC, stick your characters on Liquid Cauldrons. But yeah, I think you can gain a lot from progressing the Sigils a little bit, especially because of the Sovereign Artifact that gives you increase to your Sigil effect. So you can get more Gold Food effect, you can get, eventually down the line, more AFK gain rate, a little bit more weapon power, to help you maybe push another tier multi-kill in the Gloomies. Decrease the kitchen cost of upgrades, pretty good, but mostly Peculiar Vial. This is like a big one for people when it comes to liquid generation. This is a fantastic sigil to try to get to. And then later down the line, you have things like Div Spiral for more Divinity EXP. Everyone knows I love Divinity EXP, so I'm always going to shill it. More Sailing Treasure. This is great if you're trying to level up your boats or prepare for World 7. Maybe there's new islands added. Maybe there's a new treasure. Maybe there's new artifacts. So getting more, maybe not loot value, but getting more sailing speed will help you push towards getting to that new island if it's implemented, or getting to the last island within 2 hours across all your boats. It's kind of a stretch goal for people when it comes to sailing. And then obviously Cool Coin. This is like, this is okay, whatever. I mean, if you can get to Mastery 2, you basically bought all the Jade Emporium upgrades at that point. So, I mean, who needs Cool Coin? But if the mechanic is going to get expanded, if Jade Emporium is going to get more upgrades in World 7, it's kind of a good thing to prep for and try to get this to at least the blue color. Not even trying to get it to the piss color or iodized even. You can get a little bit of bonus Jade coin out of this down the line, but definitely pushing Sigils, trying to get at least the blue tier for a lot of them. The Dreamcatcher, the Peculiar Vial, Div Spiral are the ones I think are more important. And then since you have iodized Sigils, I think trying to progress and get more drop rate, trying to get more gold food effect, trying to get more obviously Peapod, obviously trying to max this one first is very important to help progress the other Sigils much faster. Cool. If you haven't bought the gem shop stuff already for the royal balls, the cosmic balls, I would highly recommend trying to do that. And of all the upgrades here to max out and super, I would do the emperor bonuses just because of how broad of an impact it has to your account. Definitely the best one out of all of these in the current rotation to get to super. You're almost there. I think if you have a little bit extra golden balls to max this out and use those cosmic balls to get that to level 100 and then super it is very important. Also, remember to do your weekly Shimmer trial. I don't think you've done this yet, but the most important upgrade here is skill efficiency. Everything else here is complete garbage and trash, because if you want base stats, you can just candy click it. If you want damage, you can candy click the stat bubbles. If you want class EXP, literally level up grind time one time, and you'll get like 3 or 4 times the amount of class EXP you would ever get from Shimmer trial, and it would just do skill efficiency. Okay, Kilroy. Thank God. Do not upgrade anything else here. Cool. I would stop putting points into faster respawn. I would just focus on second timer and bonus skulls. Do not put any more points into talent drops. Do not put any more points into dungeon drops. Do not put any more points into pearl drops. Number one, these are kind of useless, and leveling up past level 1 doesn't do anything. So the only 3 upgrades that matter here are second timer, bonus skulls, and faster respawn. You have too many points, in my opinion, of faster respawn for the current ratio you have. I'd probably get second timer to like 120. And every 3 points you put into second timer, put 2 points into bonus skulls. Ideally, you want to get this like 180, 120, right? And then you can start putting more points into faster respawn. That's what I did. And then at that point, I think the 180 seconds in second timer is more than sufficient. And then I just funnel all my points into bonus skulls, because I personally don't want to spend 3 years in Kilroy per battle. If I just keep on upgrading second timer, that will happen. And I don't want to spend my entire day doing Kilroy. So I think 180 seconds is more than fine. Okay, I'm not going to bag you on this because you don't have Gambit Cavern, so getting 9-10 Megafish is completely fine. But once you get to Gambit Cavern, there is an upgrade for gains from clickers. This will include Kangaroo and will include Owl, so pushing the Megafish and Mega Feathers is going to be important once you get this, but as of right now, you do not have that. Oh, wow. Okay. So I would highly recommend trying to get Eclipse Skulls across every single category. You have a lot of multi-kill per tier, and at this point you have a lot of damage, so you're hitting high tiers of multi-kill. Getting World 2 at Eclipse on non-V-Man, obviously, because if you do V-Man speedrun, you'll get reset back down to 2 more kills. So just do them on like ES on Deathbringer. Deathbringer is a great character to do AFK. I would do it on your second Deathbringer if you have 2. If you have 1, just do it on 1. Yeah, I would just do the sorry, let me backtrack. 100 mil kills, the Super Chows, and the Apocalypse Wows only count on your second Deathbringer. So if you're trying to farm those out, only do it on Death Knot Squire to help push that. But you can do the Eclipse Skull grind on all the characters. It's not really going to matter, except V-Man, because as I mentioned, V-Man has a weird quirk where if you get any kills on that character past 2 million, when you do a V-Man speedrun, it'll just reset the character kills that character has done back down to 2 mil. So don't do Death Note grinding on your V-Man, only do it on your non-V-Man characters. And when it comes to the Super Chows, Apocalypse Wows, only do that on your second Deathbringer to help get those done. But you can do the Eclipse Skulls, the Lava Skulls on any character. Ideally, you do it on multiple characters, to be completely honest. But yeah, definitely do World 2. Every Eclipse Skull you get will increase the multi-kill bonus for that world, but also give you a multiplicative damage increase. So it's very, very good. Ooh. Upgrade your skulls. Try to get higher tier skulls across your characters. V-Man, make sure to claim your soul charge to help level them up. The best tower defense for you to do it is your Clash of Clans. This is 2200 EXP per 1 charge you use on that. I kind of missed, why do them on second Deathbringer? I only have 1. Eclipse them all on him for the 1 build gold food is a bad idea. So what I'm talking about only applies if you have more than 1 Deathbringer. So in my free-to-play account, for example, I have 3 because I'm a psychopath. So I'd be doing all my Super Chows, all my Apocalypse Wows on my third Deathbringer. So the reason you do that is because you only get the Super Chows and you only get the Apocalypse Wows counted on your last made Deathbringer. So my third one here. If I were to do Super Chows or Apocalypse Wows on my second one, it will not count towards that. So I will not get the multiplicative meal cooking speed and I will not get the gold food effect. It only applies on the last made Deathbringer. So if you only have 1, it applies on that single Deathbringer. So that being said, if you're considering doing a class swap token on a character that's after that first Deathbringer, I wouldn't recommend it. Or if you do, just be cognizant that you're going to have to refarm those Super Chows or Apocalypse Wows. And you might be thinking, oh, that's a bug. Actually, that is the bug fix. It used to not work like this. Actually, it used to be platform dependent. So if you played on mobile, it would count one way. And if you played on PC, it used to count a different way. So I think mobile counted your first character or whatever. And then if you played on Steam or web, it counted on your second Deathbringer or the most recent one. It's still stupid, but that is the bug fix. So yeah, it should count, honestly, the total of all the kills across your Deathbringers, but it doesn't. It counts on the most recently made Deathbringer, so if you have more than 2, it counts on the last one you made. So if you have 3 Deathbringers like I do, it counts on this last one. And Tim's point, this counts on V-Man as well. So if you have the left hand of skilling or learning and the right hand of action or whatever it's called, it'll apply on the most recent V-Man. So that character needs to be the highest level across those skills to get the skill efficiency or skill EXP needed for the other characters. I'm not sure what other mechanics work like that, but those two are the most popular and most misunderstood because of how ambiguous it is. So that's why you do the Super Chows and specifically the Apocalypse Wows on those last Deathbringers. Anyways, going back to worship, if you want to claim EXP, best way to do it is Clash of Clans. You get 2200 EXP per individual charge. So this is the most EXP and point effective way to level up your characters in worship, just claiming all charge on Clash of Clans. So this, if you have like 2000 charge, that's like 2000 times 2206 is 4 mil EXP versus the others. You do the math, it's way less. So that's why you do Clash of Clans. That's why you worry about the EXP per charge. This is again per individual charge. So this is the most EXP efficient for you. Prayers, yeah, I often glance over this, but I can't even click on it. But when you get to prayers, just max out all the prayers. Hello? Can I not? I click. All right, well. All right, cool. I guess that the review's over. Mechanics, I can't click on any more tabs. Well, I actually can't. Hold on, let me. Can I refresh? Is stream dead? Am I alive? Wait, we have printer? Okay, refinery's good. Cool. I think we're back to normal. All right, let's talk about farming, I guess. Before Toolbox shits itself and we die again. Farming. Okay, so my recommendation when it comes to farming is get to land ranks, and I think you have it. Yes, you do. So, when you get land ranks is really when farming starts to speed up, what I've noticed early game. So, land ranks are massive for one particular reason, the production boost and production mega boost and eventually production super boost. These will increase the value of crops. So what that means is for every one crop you collect, it'll give you a multiplier value to the amount of crops you find. So if you collect one crop and you have 100% crop value, you'll get 2 crops, right? If you have 200%, you'll get 3 crops or whatever, right? So that, that's the first time you'll encounter crop value realistically until you get to value GMO and getting those 10k crop values. But the other way you encounter it is actually product doubler. Product doubler is crop value that multiplies the amount of crops that you find. So leveling up product doubler at this point in the game is going to be very important for you to help increase the amount of crops that you collect. That being said, you're a little bit ways away, I think, from getting to a reliable 1k stack of crops. So I'd highly recommend trying to do a heavy focus on trying to get more magic beans to trade in. And obviously that's going to come in the form of you upgrading this more beans, upgrade the day market. Farming is still going to be very, very slow until you can start stacking up the 1k crops, but you're nearly there. You're almost there. I think once you do some more magic bean trade-ins, you get more levels into speed GMO, trying to get more levels into nutritious soil, you're going to be able to like really skyrocket and progress farming much, much faster. So I think as you level up farming, getting a few levels into production mega boost. Production mega boost isn't the most point efficient of the production boosts, but you only have 2 available to you right now, or rather soon. So getting levels of production boost more so than production mega boost is not a bad idea. I'd highly recommend it, but getting a few points into mega boost isn't going to hurt you early game. And then you want to focus a little bit on day market, trying to get more product doubler upgrades, trying to get this to ideally 100%. I know as painful as that sounds, this is going to be very, very important. But yes, 100% product doubler will 2 extra crops, 200% product doubler will 3 extra crops, and then 300% will 4 extra crops. That being said, it is crop value. So if your crop value here caps at 10,000, product doubler does nothing. If you have, say, 2,500 crop value multi, and you have 300x product doubler, you have essentially 4x the amount of crops, which means you cap out that 10,000 value. So product doubler will work so long as you're under that 10,000 value. If you're at 10,000, then product doubler does nothing. Yeah. So So yeah, I would highly recommend getting more levels of product doubler, because as you double your crops, that'll help you get more crops, which will help you farm out 1k much faster. And I think you're very, very close. You're very, very close to like an exponential growth when it comes to crops found. And that being said, I think the other thing you want to do is probably try to farm out more land plots. I think you can probably get like 2 more land plots here to help you farm out those crops as well. So doing a little bit of day market farming, getting more of those magic beans. And I think right now your goal is to try to get, honestly, at this point, because of how much you leveled evolution GMO, I'd probably do like a 1-to-3 split on your magic bean points. So doing 1 level of evolution GMO to 3 levels of speed GMO to help catch that up. Because I think you are able to get to 1k crops. It's just you don't benefit a lot from it because you only have 1 level here. So I would probably just farm out the highest tier crop that you can, which are, in this case is mushrooms. As you level up mushrooms, get more of them, you'll be able to get more magic beans. You know, this will help you get more magic beans. So trying to farm out those mushies and getting to a high tier mushy will help you get more magic beans. I think I said that multiple times in one breath. But yeah. So I'd probably right now where you are aim towards getting the magic bean reset. And so you would you'd remove all your crops, go farm mushrooms, and just farm out a ton of mushrooms so you can magic bean reset, and then use those beans and upgrade in that 1-to-3 ratio, like I said. And then once this is at like 1-to-2%, experiment and see if a 1k crops gives you a meaningful increase in growth speed, because I suspect it might not. But it'll help you get started, and as you get more of those 1k crops, it'll make your initial resets much, much faster. And I see you're already doing the 1k stack across your basic crops, which isn't a bad idea. Just right now, it's really not worth your time because you only have 1 level of that speed GMO. But as you do a bean reset and level this up a ton more, you're gonna get a lot more speed value out of this. But yeah, early game farming is a complete pain in the ass. I completely agree. But what you now have land ranks, and it's going to massively multiply your speed, like a lot. The land ranks crop value capped with a 10k as well, or is it separate? It caps as well. This adds to that crop value. I think the only thing is production boost doesn't visually add to it because it depends on the land plot rank of your individual crops. So say one crop is at level 10 land rank and the other crop's at level 1. You're getting a 43.8% crop value of that rank 10 versus the other one you're only getting 4.38. So for that reason, I don't think it adds to your total. I think production mega boost does and production super boost does, but this is kind of a hidden value. So say you have a level 10, it'll add 0.438 or something, or 4.3, I don't know, something like that, just hidden as a hidden value to this crop value multi. So you might cap out a lot earlier, but there is a spreadsheet you can use, and I can't remember where it is, or I don't know, I've talked about it a lot in previous videos. I think way back when I talked about Boss Regale's account and I really went in depth to that spreadsheet, so I recommend going back to that review if you need that spreadsheet. But okay, I'm sure you want me to talk about a bunch of other stuff, but I think I've talked at length about a lot of stuff that you can do. So before I get into giving you decision paralysis and you don't know what to do, I think you should reflect on the earlier part of this video. And, you know, obviously coming back to farming, doing that every few hours will help you out in trying to progress. And as you get up to like 300-400 magic beans on the crop ticket trade-in, I think that's when you want to do the magic bean reset to help you out with that. So mechanics, I'll go and stop the review there. Thank you so much for the account. It's a great early game account to review, and I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you get some value out of that. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.